Hi guys, welcome back. We're going to have a bit of fun now prior to the World Cup. I'm going to pick a World Cup all-time 15. Now, the rules of my little game here, very arbitrary, but I'm only taking from the 99 World Cup and onwards, as I believe that's the modern era, and I don't like comparing modern and amateur players. If you want to pick your own team, including the previous World Cups to that, go for it, not a problem. So each player must have been in the final, so they must have been in that match day 23. Again, if you want to pick players who featured in the pool games or got injured or whatever, absolutely fine. But those are my rules. Clearly the players I'm going to pick are going to be the ones kind of I watch, my age range. You guys pick whatever you think. But anyway, this is what I think is the all-time World Cup 15 that could beat anyone. Now at Loosehead, I've looked through those finalists, and the two that stand out are Joe Moody and Os Durant. I'm going to go with Big Os Durant. You know, he's just iconic. You know, it's more of a kind of an emotional thing. You know, he's got a bit of a cult following. Absolute rock in that scrum. Huge guy. Get a hard as nails South African there. Straight in. Joe Moody would have been a great pick, but I'm going Os Durant straight in number one. Now at hooker, I've actually got four options. Steve Thompson was that English hooker that won the World Cup, and he was that big all-action ball-carrying hooker. You know, very exciting. In his heyday, he was phenomenal. John Schmidt and then Bismarck du Plessis are the two South Africans. Now, John Schmidt was the captain, but actually, I preferred Bismarck du Plessis as a hooker. I actually thought he was a slightly better player. Obviously, John Schmidt had that all-rounder, plus he could prop as well. But if I was going to pick one of those two, I'd actually go du Plessis. And he didn't even start, so tell me if I'm wrong there. However, the best hooker I've seen in a World Cup so far is Dane Coles for New Zealand. He was absolutely on fire. He was awesome. Changed the game, works in the wide channels, amazing handling, just excited me. So Dane Coles goes in as the hooker. And looking at number 3 at tight head, there was only one choice for me. It is Owen Franks from New Zealand. What a legend. So Os Durant, Dane Coles, Owen Franks, what a front row. They're my front row for that all-time 15. So, second row, I have got on my short list Martin Johnson, captain of England. Then we have the two amazing South Africans that have to go down as a pair, Victor Matfield and Bakis Botha. Now, if I was going to pick those two, I'd pick them straight out as a pair, and I really, really could. And if you say you'd pick those two, I'd be happy. But I didn't want to split them up. That was the problem I had, because they just went together so well. The hard as nails Botha, who kind of, might get sent off a little bit more if he played in the modern era with video replays, but that amazing technical Matfield, and they just went together so well. But I'm not going to pick him because I have to pick Brodie Retallick, because I think he is the best second row I have ever seen, maybe one of the best forwards I have ever seen. Huge, amazing in the air, but a fantastic ball carrier, handler, offloader. He's just got it all. A bit of a freak. So he has to play, and I'm taking actually as my second row and my captain John Eales. Okay, captained Australia. Everyone loved him, kicked goals, amazing athlete, real leader. You would follow this guy anywhere. Plus, I think he'd go quite well with Brodie Retallick. So Retallick and Eales are my second row pairing. Now, at blindside, 3 on the short list. First of all, Richard Hill from England, then Berger from South Africa, and Kano from New Zealand. Now, I have said on record on my channel before, I think Richard Hill was one of the best forwards I've ever seen in his prime, maybe the best back row forward. Just did everything. He was quiet, he went about his business, but he was amazing, tackling, running, rucking, handling, supporting breaks. This guy was just everything you wanted from a 6. Plus maybe that's a little bit of English bias coming in, I don't know, but I'm going Richard Hill as my number 6. Number 7, 2 candidates for me stood out. Neil Back from England and Richie McCaw from New Zealand. But it's just a bit unfortunate for Neil Back, because Richie McCaw was unbelievable, number 7, real legend, unbelievable over the ball, hard as nails, great leader, could easily have been captain, probably vice-captain to Eales, but McCaw has to go in as my 7. Then again, an Englishman and a New Zealander on my shortlist for number 8, Dallaglio and Reid. Very, very close, but Reed takes it for me, unfortunately. I'll say unfortunately because I'm English, but I have to because he's so good in the air. He's a little bit more of an all-rounder than Delalio. Delalio maybe a bit more brute strength, but Reed in his heyday, probably coming down a little bit now, but really quick, just did everything. Great leader as well. Really good balance to that pack. So that's my pack. Say what you think. So on to the backs. Number 9, we've got 4 fantastic scrum halves here. George Gregan, Dawson, Dupree, and Aaron Smith of New Zealand. So close. I could pick any of those guys. Aaron Smith has just a beautiful silky pass that has got me so close to picking him. Although I'm going to take the Australian George Gregan, just because as an opposition, I wouldn't want to face him. He is nasty, he is in your face, he's all action, he's on you, and I want him on my team. So I'm going George Gregan as my 9. Get him on my team rather than against me. So, at 10, 3 very different fly halves. We've got Larkham, Stephen Larkham, who was a footballer. He could play, he could do anything. Sometimes that kind of made him look not as good, if you like, because he was a bit unorthodox. He'd run a bit more, he'd be a bit gangly, but he's a genius. Wilkinson, obviously, kicker supreme, real hard tackler as well. But whenever I do comparisons with Wilkinson and Carter, I have to always pick Carter on top, because all round, in his prime, you couldn't touch him. His running game, his tackling, his kicking, his passing, he had everything. What a complete player. Absolute legend, World Cup winner, obviously, as they all are. But I'm taking Dan Carter as my 10, so Gregan, Dan Carter as my halfbacks. I like it. Into the centres. Shortlist is Horan, Greenwood, Nonu, Conrad Smith, Sonny Bill Williams. They're my shortlist, and it was really tough. I like Greenwood's creativity. Horan was a serious competitor. Sonny Bill was a freak of, the things he can do, his offloads. But I took the pair. I took the group that played together. Nonu and Conrad Smith were just such a perfect sense of partnership. The power, the offloading, the running, the tackling. It was just a perfect 12-13 combo. So Nonu, Conrad Smith makes up that all New Zealand midfield. Okay, on to the wings. Shortlist. Joe Roth, Jason Robinson, Ben Cohen, Brian Abana and Julian Surveyor. The bus. I could take any of these. Joe Roth, iconic. In my youth, he was just tearing down that wing. It was just like a grizzly bear on the wing. Cohen was that big gangly winger for England. Seville in his day was an absolute beast of a finisher. But I'm taking those 2 that left over. Twinkle Toes, Jason Robinson. No one had quicker feet than Jason Robinson, and no one poached so many tries as Brian Habana. So those are my try scorers on the wings, Robinson and Habana. Finally, coming to fullback, 4 on the short list. Matt Burke, Percy Montgomery, Israel Dagg and Ben Smith. Wow, this was tough. You could almost pick Percy Montgomery just for his hair. Burke's got an amazing kick. Dagg is just a brilliant footballer, eye for a gap. But the best all-round fullback that I've seen in his prime is Ben Smith. Did everything. Just speed, tackling, all amazing awareness, cover, technically brilliant. What a guy to have holding you together at the back, Ben Smith. So that is my team. Osterant, Dane Coles, Owen Franks, Brody Retallick, John Eales as captain, Richard Hill, McCourt and Reed, then Gregan and Carter 9-10, Nonu, Conrad Smith, Jason Robinson and Habana on the wings and Ben Smith at fullback. There we go, all-time 15, World Cup 15. Comment, what do you think? Who would you pick instead, or would you just take my team? Okay, enjoy the World Cup, guys, and until then, I will see you later.